Yes, now, oh, great. Divya is there, Kshitij. Thank you very much for joining. Harsh Batra. So, we will begin. I have started 5 minutes before just to welcome all of you. Shreya, thank you very much for joining. We will start the session at the fixed time, that is at 7 sharp. But till the time, I thought I must speak with a few of you who are like me, coming little early. So, Gurdeep Singh has joined. Welcome, Gurdeep. And still we have enough time. I've started it a little early. But certainly, I thought I will speak. I will see who all are coming. I will welcome all of you. That's how I'm here, a little early. Quickly, people are joining. So that's very nice. Today we are going to talk about the notorious criminal from UP who had 64 cases, and all of them are most of the cases are primarily the hardcore cases like murder, attempt to murder, extortion, and so on and so forth. Yes, it is Vikas Dubey only. Somebody has written the name. We'll be talking about it, and I will also try and speak to you about the historical prospect as to what extrajudicial killings, as we call it, encounters by police, and how is the record, and from where this journey has started, and what all is the state of affairs, where and what Supreme Court had said, what is the stand of the other important bodies like National Human Rights Commission. So I will try and give a brief about that, and then certainly I will be trying my level best to present before you today as to how this particular encounter was not an encounter, as I say, and I will certainly speak about it. I will give you certain examples, certain important event which happened, and how these events were relevant. We will talk about that as well. So let the time come. Still few minutes are left. There is a case which is being filed in Supreme Court, and what Supreme Court has observed and what is the next course of action. What Supreme Court, the next date of hearing is on Monday 20th. So we will touch base all those things. We will also talk about something, what happens in the democratic setup, whether this kind of extra judicial killings, as I'm saying, as everybody says, are important, what is the state of affairs. Yeah, now Madan Ji is writing NHRC, police are acting under political influence. Might, yes. So nice of you. All of you are coming. Kajol has come. I could see. Pogo is her account's name. So welcome to you. Astha has also joined. Ishan Sharma has joined. Welcome, Ishan. Kajol, welcome once again. Good evening to you, Kajol. So we'll start in 2-3 minutes. Anuj has joined now. Abhishek Jaiswal has joined. Good evening. Yes, very good evening to you, Thakur Saab. Divya, hello sir. Deepti is there. Astha, good evening. Yes, good evening. Abhishek Jaiswal. So now quickly people are joining. Yeah, I was a little early, so it was good evening. Ishan Sharma is saying. So today, as I said, as the topic is, what basically we will talk about this incidents which has happened and which is in news from last, the entire July. This news is there, 3rd of July, 5th of July and 8th of July. These are the dates. Sagar, good evening. Welcome. So probably another 1 minute I will start, and I will take a little while explaining you the history, at least in last 4 decades, what has happened in the country and how this encounter has become a practice. Akash is saying, sir is live now. Yes, I'm live. I think now they'll be live on YouTube also. I'm not aware of it, but they are doing it. So let me begin now. I will start basically as a matter of fact. In what circumstances, what is the legal proposition, if I may say? The legal proposition is this, that when can you, or if I may talk about the police, in what circumstances police can kill an offender or the accused who's can do the encounter, as we call. There are only 2 circumstances when it can be done. One is as IPC defines, journal exceptions, where the right is given to you that in case there is a threat to your life, then in self-defense, you can certainly kill somebody. And the second thing, which is very important, is the police officer, as provided in section 46 of CRPC, can certainly do the encounter. So these are the 2 legally, if you may ask me, these are the 2 occasions when an encounter can take place. Now I would just like to share with you very importantly that in the decade of 1990s and 2080s, 90s, we have seen that Mumbai police basically used to do this kind of practice, and they used to kill so many underworld dons they had killed. And in if I may say so, in 2 decades, more than 1,200 big underworld dons were killed by Mumbai police. We have seen that was the era in Mumbai. Even in Chennai, we have seen certain encounters where big, if I may say, underworld dons were killed by the police. And if you just it just gives me a few names are important here. Pradeep Sharma, Inspector, Mumbai Police, then Daya Nayak, Praful Bose, all these people. Daya Nayak has killed 83 people. Praful Bose, 77 people he has killed. Similarly, if I may talk about Pradeep Sharma, who tops the list, 312 people he has killed in encounters. That was an era. Then we have seen in Punjab, if I may say, during 80s and 90s, thousands of people during the insurgency, police has killed in encounter. So many people, so many insurgents, as they call. In Gujarat, 2002 to 2006, Shorabuddin murder case, Tulsi Ram Prajapati murder case, then Israt Jahan murder case, and so on and so forth. These all cases were there as per the NHRC data. Then I cannot forget about the northeastern states. In northeastern states, a series of encounters were there, and we saw that many people were killed by the police persons, and many encounters took place. If I may tell you some data of NHRC, 2002 to 2008, approximately 450 fake encounters were reported, where the NHRC took stand, and NHRC did certain kind of studies on that, and the cases were called by them 2009 to 2013. If during this period of 4 years, 555 fake encounters were reported before the NHRC, and the proceedings took place. We have to appreciate. And various incidences I can tell you about Veerappan's encounter. Then I can tell you about our own Delhi Batla House encounter, where Inspector Mohan Chand Pandey was involved, who was the sub-inspector in the police, and he was honored also. Then one other case, basically, if I may talk about, is a case where at that time, Uttar Pradesh, there was a district, in Pilibhit district, there were about 11 Sikh pilgrims were killed, and that was a fake encounter. And later on, we have seen that about 47 police officers were imprisoned for that, and it was established that it was a fake encounter. Now, if I may tell you a very recent incident, 6th December 2019, Priyanka Reddy, or later her name was given as Disha. I want to just tell you that was a case where a lot of hue and cry was made, and the incidence was taken and supported by many people. They said that it is nothing but a right thing done by the police, and that way, you can recall that it was nothing but The Phoolon ki Varsha was also done on those police officers by people. Because what was the reason? That the reason was that the people as such are tired, sick and tired of the delays in the judicial system, and especially in cases of the offenses against the woman, rape especially. It was such an heinous crime against that daughter of ours. That shows that it has a long history in our country. Northeastern states, I have said, Calcutta, so many incidences took place. Chennai, Mumbai was very popular. I said, as I mentioned, approximately 1,200 people were killed. Dons, goons, without any trial, without any this thing, all extra, as I say, extra judicial killings were done by the police on the ground of self-defense or section 46 CRPC. And recent one more data I would like to say here, that in the year 2000, from the year 2000 to 2017, there were about, in National Human Rights Commission, there were about 1782 cases of fake encounters where the inquiries were conducted by the National Human Rights Commission. And very important figure, if I may share with all of you, out of this 1782 cases, the majority, that is 45% of cases, were from Uttar Pradesh. So that is a very, very important thing which you should know. And one more thing I wanted to share with you is this, that these extrajudicial killings or encounters of these goons, criminals, were appreciated by masses. And that is the reason, we have seen by various film directors, including Ab Tak Chhappan, Bardash, Batla House, and there was another movie, Aan, Khaki. All these movies were also made. And if you remember, very recently, there were a few years back, there was a big film, very popular film, Singham, and then Lady Singham, and all those, showing that the police person has the power to kill. So that kind of aura is shown in these films, and these films become super hit films. Now, that is one side of a story. If I may share with you, what happened in Priyanka Reddy case. That's where the Supreme Court took charge of it, and Supreme Court has also appointed a judicial commission to inquire about it. We all know the facts about the Priyanka Reddy case. If I may just share with you within a minute, there were 4 people had raped and burnt alive this veterinary doctor girl, and on the next day, these 4 criminals, they were taken to the about 30 kilometers away from Hyderabad. They were taken to the site where the offense was committed to create the scene in the morning at 3 o'clock. And as alleged, that these 3 people had gone and they had gone there, and these 4 people tried to snatch the arms from the police and tried open fire on the police in self-defense. The Hyderabad or the Telangana police killed them on the spot. But a lot of, if I may say, voice was raised by human rights activists that yes, it was not a correct encounter, it was a fake encounter. So that's how this thing was quite in news. So two major aspects I will take up, and then I will come to Vikas Dubey, which is the topic today. I wanted to tell you that there was a case in the year 2014, PUCL versus Union of India, where Supreme Court, seeing the number of incidences which have increased as far as the false encounters are concerned, gave 16 guidelines. Basically, these 16 guidelines are standard procedures which should be followed by the police in cases of the what you call encounters. So what were the if you want, I'll just brief you about those standard procedures, those guidelines which were given by the Supreme Court. First and foremost is that immediately the moment police receives the information tip-off, it has to record that tip-off, based upon which they are going for the action. That should be recorded, and after the incidents, immediately FIR is must. After this kind of an FIR is required, and the investigation to this incidence of encounter should be done by an independent officer from some other police station, and that officer should be senior to the officers who were indulgent to that encounter. He should be one post senior to what the officers were there. Now thereafter, if I may say, independent probe should be done. A magisterial probe and independent probe should be done, and in case in this incidents somebody is injured, some accused is injured, immediate best of the best possible medical aid should be provided to them. Now next is that they are also, as per these guidelines, they have to inform the NHRC or the State Human Rights Commission, whatever is suitable, whatever is available. Then there should not be any delay. That is all what the Supreme Court in its guidelines have said. And further, it has also said that the kins of the accused person or the person who have died, injured, should be informed as quickly as possible. They should be informed about the incidents. Then it was also stated in the guidelines, 16 guidelines which were given, that the DG police of every state should send a report every 6 monthly report. That means 2 reports in a year to the National Human Rights Commission about the encounters, and that's very important. Then there is another thing which was also discussed in these guidelines, was that the persons who died, they should get compensation as per the provisions of the law. Then legal aid should be provided to these policemen, and most important, the arms and ammunition which are used in that particular encounter should be surrendered, and there should be a forensic investigation of these arms and ammunitions which are being used. Then if any of the kin has any grievance that something is not happened or something is wrongly being done, then these people should be allowed to file a complaint. They have right to file a complaint at the district judge level. That is what. So these were the guidelines primarily provided by the Supreme Court, that in case there is an encounter, then in that encounter, these are the very, very important aspects which should be kept in mind. So, and not only this, I must say that Supreme Court has also very categorically, very strictly stated to the union government and asked the union government to send this advisory to each police of each state police, so that these guidelines should be adhered. They should not be abused. So that is what in 2014, if I may say, and these guidelines are still very relevant, and these are they are the law, if I may say. As all of you know, that what Supreme Court declares is the law of the land. Now, another very important thing which I wanted to share with you, which reminds me of Justice M.N. Venkat Chalaiya, who was the then, if I may say, NHRC chairperson, and he has said that there are 4 set of guidelines were given by him in the year 1997. That first is that the registration of the offense should be there. Then second is that basically the investigation should be by a separate body, a separate the police officers not involved in that, and a separate set of officers who are the senior officers should do the investigation. And as far as the other 2 aspects are concerned, that it has also talked about the compensation to the people who have died in the encounter. There should be a provision for compensation for them. Then the most important point on which the court, National Human Rights Commission has focused primarily, was that independent investigation should be done. Now, these guidelines were revised in the year 2010 by the National Human Rights Commission, and a similar set of what guidelines, as I have said, in the Supreme Court, same kind of things came up there in the National Commission. Now, so this is what is the background, which is very, very important. And I would also like to, I would also like to touch base for a minute, the Priyanka Reddy case, where I have always said that when you are discussing about that case, look, we have to see there are 2 incidences. One incidence is as far as the rape and the murder of the girl is concerned. That is a separate incidence, and that incidence is totally condemnable, and that was the heinous the act by these people, these accused persons. That we have to see in different light. But that doesn't mean that particular act has to be seen here. This encounter has to be seen in that light. That should not be. Both are separate incidences. That should be very, very clear. As far as this encounter is concerned, it leaves lot of questions. Lot of questions are left. That is the reason Supreme Court has made a committee. Justice V.S. Sirpurkar was heading it. 3-member committee, one another judge of High Court, and one senior police officer was part of this committee. This committee has to file a report within 6 months, and even the SIT, which was formed by the state government of Telangana, that has to be, Supreme Court has very categorically mentioned that has to also file its report to this particular commission, Judicial Inquiry Commission, if I may say so. So that case is, we are still awaiting, the report is still awaiting, though the 6 months period is now lapsed, but because of the corona and COVID, what the situation is going on, I think this report will come, and they must have taken what you call the approval from extension of the commission, if I may say. And simultaneously, one more thing had happened in Telangana case, if I may say so. NHRC has separately is doing a separate investigation. So that is all about, if I may say, that how we have seen n number of quite a large number of encounters in previous decades, and these encounters are certainly in a democratic system, as the topic today is whether they are blatantly they are the abuse of rule of law. If I may say, yes, they are abuse of law. There is a majority of people will say that that these criminals should be taught lessons like this. I was watching television a few days back. On Z television, the anchor started by saying that still, people are there in this country who are supporting Vikas Dubey. No, we are not supporting Vikas Dubey at all. We are not at all saying so. Today, if we follow the rule that eye for an eye is the rule, that's what probably meant by, that means you kill the killer. If you do this, if you follow this law, that eye for an eye, then that day is not far that the entire world will become blind. We have to keep in mind, we have our own system is there. We have to go by what our rule of law says. What is, whether we have to see the due process of law is to be adopted or not. It reminds me of the incidents of the brutal incidents, and which nobody is justified for that. Ajmal Kasab, what he did, he murdered our people, but we never killed him on the spot. We followed the law. We followed the rule of law. There is a procedure. Even, it reminds me one more thing. He was not getting any lawyer. But the government, the judicial system provided him a lawyer. So that is what is our system. Everybody has a right. Our constitution provides for rights. We have seen that in a case, Supreme Court has said, the case was Kuldeep Nayyar's case, I think. It was said by Supreme Court that the TADA detainees also have the right to life. And right to life doesn't mean right to live only. It means right to live with human dignity. So that is, even a person who is a criminal, he also has a right. So this right is there, no doubt about it. And that does not mean that we are in any way supporting the crime committed by these people. But there is a procedure. We cannot hand over a blind power to the police. The police will start doing, it is not jungle law, if I may say so. We have to see that everywhere we have to follow the law. And if you don't follow the law, I think we are heading towards not in positive direction. Now, who is Vikas Dubey? Vikas Dubey was a notorious criminal from Uttar Pradesh. Approximately, as stated and reported, there are about 64 criminal cases of all heinous in nature. Nobody is supporting him. There is a law. Law will take its own course. You arrest him. You take it. What an heinous act is being done by him. He had murdered, blatantly killed 8 police persons and injured various others. He is the same person who has killed a minister in Uttar Pradesh. So nobody is protecting him. He is a criminal, as I always say, that he was not only a criminal, but he is a terrorist. That is one part. But that doesn't mean that Uttar Pradesh police is justified in killing him. Uttar Pradesh police is justified in this, that whatever they have done is valid because of the reason that there are 64 cases going on. No, we are governed by a process. A process is there. We have to follow that process. You can't kill anybody like this. Now I will talk about something. Other day I was seeing a program. I would like to mention it here. A very honorable DG Police of Uttar Pradesh was giving an interview, ex-DG Police, and I have a great regard for him, Shri Vikram Singh ji, and he is one of the most decorated police IPS officer of the country, I must say so. But I saw his interview wherein he was justifying this on the count that the words used by him were that even the encounter of Osama bin Laden was criticized, was questioned. Similarly, the interview in which he said that the major reason for this is that that the police does not have the right kind of systems with it. Mr. Singh had also has mentioned in his interview that if we see the prosecution rate for SIT, which is equipped with modern facilities, is quite high. That is up to 90%, and nobody can touch them, SIT. But on the other hand, the prosecution rate for the normal police is so low. And if I may tell you, what is the prosecution rate? 6%. So conviction rate is 6% for these prosecution. What is the reason? What he has mentioned was that the SIT and all these police have got scientific aids investigating aids are there, scientific, like lie detector is there, and so on and so forth. Many of them, narco analysis, they can go and do it. Our police, as he said, so he was harping upon it that the police is not sufficiently armed. But today's topic is not that. I am coming back to what is being done, and we will also analyze. The affidavit, 57-page long affidavit filed by Uttar Pradesh police. I will also analyze the sequence of event where what Vikas has done and how it all has happened. And I will also touch here the case of Tuticorin. What had happened? A father and son. What was their fault? What was their fault? Their fault was, each one of you know, their fault was that they were in the shop for the late period. So the police atrocities, as I have said, are continuously, we have been seeing them. Now, I would like to mention here something about Vikas, as we are talking about, and what I feel, why I am questioning today, why. And even in the very first date, the Supreme Court has also said that we will do the same in this case also. There are all of you are well aware that there are 2 petitions filed in the Supreme Court wherein they have challenged that this encounter is not a valid one, and these are nothing but extrajudicial killings. So 3 judges bench, Justice Bopanna, of course headed by our Chief Justice, and Justice Subhash Reddy, Justice Bopanna, the bench of these 3 have issued the notice to the Uttar Pradesh police, and accordingly Uttar Pradesh police has sought time to file the affidavit, and that affidavit, 57-page affidavit, is filed. And taking into account what was contended, what was stated by the Chief Justice, that why can't we take a step, the judiciary will take same steps as it did in case of Telangana, Priyanka Reddy case. That means 3-member committee. So that's what Supreme Court has hinted. Now, what was the contentions? I wanted to just show you a few contentions which were raised by the Uttar Pradesh police. They have said that it is not at all a fake encounter, firstly. Secondly, they also said that he was shot because in self-defense, as in general exception, as defined in section, I think, 100 of IPC. And it is not at all, they have specifically stated that it is not at all the same incidents as happened in Telangana. They have said that the Uttar Pradesh police has already ordered a judicial inquiry, and a retired High Court judge is doing the inquiry. This is one ground they have said, and they are saying that we are very clean. And there in Telangana, one ground they have said that those accused were not having any other cases before them. But this particular person, Vikas Dubey, was having approximately 64 cases and heinous crime cases against him. So it was a clear-cut case. And further, they have also tried to analyze it, that in case of Telangana, they have done a comparative. They have point-wise question answer format they have produced in their 57-page affidavit, that there is a material evidence, a vehicle was there which was which is one of the most important and material evidence, which shows that there is a vehicle. Why can't and then it has happened. Now, after reading this, when I was analyzing it, and I will give one share to one of my friends, and that is the only television channel which has taken this particular case in this spirit, that that it is a fake encounter. That's News 24, and where Sandeep Chaudhary has raised this alarm. And if I may, I'll be talking about all those things. I had seen that program, so I thought I will share it with you. That you must go to the YouTube and check it. How they have analyzed it in their program. Now, I will share with you few anomalies, if I may say so. First and foremost, this is a case, if you could just recollect, there was another co-accused, as the police is saying, was caught in Faridabad. The Faridabad being a separate territory, the police, after arresting him, police showed their arrest. This is a very important point. Please listen to this very carefully. There is another accused called Amar Dubey, who was the co-accused as per the police. They caught Amar Dubey from Faridabad, and the police, Uttar Pradesh police, took a transit remand. Now, after taking the transit remand, they took him to the Kanpur, and in between, on his way, again, the fake encounter, as I am alleging, was done, in which he was shot and he died. Now, this is 2 days before the incidents which has taken place in Vikas Dubey's case. Now, what I want to tell you here, the police did a mistake by taking this Amar Dubey on transit remand, because now they have to explain the entire movement, because here judiciary is involved. He was by virtue of judicial order, he was under the custody. This was missing. This is what rectification done by the police. Now please see, the police has rectified their mistake, and in Ujjain, in the morning hour, they arrested the Vikas Dubey. Entire day they remained there in Ujjain, but they never lodged any FIR. They never informed the local police. They just took charge of the accused. They never went to the court. They never took the transit remand. Why? Because if they take the transit remand, what will happen? If there is a transit remand, there will be an explanation owed to them. What happened? That is one incident, which is, I feel, against the police. Now, there is a place called Barawage Toll Plaza. There, in this accused, Vikas was sitting. In the video it has come, the Vikas was sitting in some other car. Why and where he is shifted to the car which got accidented. I'll come to the cars also. Now, first important thing is, when they started from Ujjain, there were 4 cars in which all the people were traveling. How those 4 cars reduced to 3 cars, that is a question, I don't know. From where one black Safari came, there is another car added, black Safari. How Vikas is shifted to TUV Mahindra, nobody knows about it. Nobody has given any explanation about it. Why on that particular Barawage toll plaza, the other cars of the media were stopped? No explanation is given. Of course, in the affidavit, they have said that they were not stopped, but they were stuck in the traffic jam. This is what is the explanation given by them. Now, other thing is, as per the law, this person was a dreaded criminal, as everybody knows. Now, why you have not handcuffed him? What is the reason for that? So all these things are coming, raising one or the other question. And why? Now the other thing is, the other very important aspect is that he is a dreaded criminal. The car got, turned off. It was, all of you have seen that car, position of the car. None of the glasses of the car are broken. Nothing. From where he has gone out is very difficult to imagine. How he must have come out of the car, it is very difficult to imagine. Then how out of the 6 bullets used by the police, all the 4 have hit him in front. When it is a normal thing that if somebody is running, you will hit the bullet and the bullet will hit at the back, not at the front. छाती पे उसके 3 गोलियां लगी हैं. So this is one aspect, and one very important aspect which I feel will the UP police has to give really explanation about it. You know what is that? On that day there was a big rain, but if you see the body of Vikas, there are only 3 shot and blood stains are there. No kichad is there on any of his clothes. What that shows? It's nothing but a blatant murder. That's what I by seeing, by reading all this, the analysis and various documents which I could see, I feel that these are the points which will be difficult for the police to handle, and police will have to really do a lot of mehnat mushakkat to save this case. That's what I feel as far as the encounter of the dreaded criminal is concerned. We have to always understand this. I want to repeat it for the sake of putting an emphasis here. We have to see both the incidences in separate. In the criminal acts by Vikas are not at all justified. Similarly, if I may say so, though it is very harsh, if it is an extrajudicial murder, then it should also not be done. If at all, it is a extrajudicial murder. If it is a extrajudicial act, then I feel it is an blot in our democracy. Today the question is whether in a democratic country we should follow the rule of law and adhere to due process of law, or adopt the what you call such kind of thing which is not allowed in the democracy. Retributive justice. Are we looking for this kind of justice? No. So that's what I feel. Right to life is one of the basic fundamental right which is given to each one of us, whether that person is a hardcore criminal or what, he has this right. So that's what I feel, and now I would try and take up few questions if I am able to. This is one. Police personals and politicians were already involved from the first day. That was July 2 when the incident happened in Kanpur. That's very truthful. People say this, that in case he could have been caught and produced before the police and a proper investigation would have been taken place, so many politicians would have been involved in this racket. Sir, इनको लगता है कि पब्लिक बेवकूफ़ है और ये रोहित शेट्टी की मूवी चल रही है. This is very nicely written by somebody. Then it is full lane road with a hindrance in between that the car would turn upside down. Correct. That these are the questions as I had raised. From where the car is changed, from why they have stopped the media vehicles. All these are very important aspects. Seems like well pre-planned encounter. Absolutely. That's what I also say. Then Aman says, was Vikas Dubey injured after the accident? Nobody injured. That is the beauty. Not गाड़ी का कांच भी नहीं टूटा भाई, गाड़ी सुरक्षित है, सिर्फ ऐसे की जगह ऐसे हो गई. Media, when needed to be stopped by the government, fails to do so. I would say that the fourth pillar has not done good work. As a law expert, all of you who are law students, lawyers who are listening to me will support me, and because we are not at all justifying Vikas Dubey's conduct. We are not at all justifying what he did, what are his criminal things which he has done. But of course, we have to see that we are living in the biggest democracy of the world. Is this what we are looking for? Is this what, जैसा कि बार बार मैं उदाहरण देता हूं कि आंख के बदले आंख, ये अगर नियम हो जाएगा तो पूरा विश्व एक दिन अंधा हो जाएगा. So why? No, it is not required. Sir, media vehicles were stopped before the Vikas incidents, correct? Why not? He was handcuffed. Exactly. He committed the murders more other than the illegal workers, and yes, normal persons you handcuff, and this dreaded criminal you have not handcuffed him. Sir, what are the situation in which the police has no option other than to kill. Absolutely. This is what is the right answer. As I said, in the right thing to be asked. There are two circumstances. One circumstance is in self-defense. There are circumstances where it might possible that an accused, an offender can come and shoot some police person. But those situations are different. Here 15 people, 15 police persons were taking him. Uttar Pradesh police, 15 people were there. It reminds me of that incident of Pilibhit, where 47 police people killed 11 innocent Sikh pilgrims in 1992. And that's what there we have seen that our judiciary has taken action, and still those 47 police persons are behind bar. Then was there any chance of bail in case Vikas Dubey has committed 8 murders? There was no chance of any bail. Not at all. Not at all. Self-defense and to grab a criminal gun shot would be below the leg. That is also very important. If at all you have to, that is also one of the guidelines of the Supreme Court and National Human Rights Commission have always said that in case you have to hit, there is a inevitable situation, you have to shoot at him. So first shoot at the leg, not at and the same thing we found in Hyderabad. You know where the bullet was hit to those accused persons? At their head. So that's quite a serious thing. Sir, one can try run? There is a various cases in which the accused arrested try to run, but in this case it is not clear. Sir, how can one run when one has surrendered? Yeah, that is one contention. And even in the 57-page affidavit, the police has said that it was not a surrender. We have caught him. That's what is the reply to this question given by the Uttar Pradesh police in their 57-page affidavit. Thank you for going to ask. Thank you, sir. I was going to ask about the same case. Okay. Then encounter at Hyderabad. Okay, we have taken that. Police encounter him because otherwise he would have revealed the diabolic secrets of many high society politicians, and of course would get themselves and again get himself released. Hello sir, happy to see you back. Shelly is saying you can fool all people some of time. You can fool some people all the time, but you cannot fool people all the time. Very true, very true. Then law has given all right that both the parties should be heard. Exactly, that is what a lawyer would say. Anybody with a prudent mind would say, yes, it was wrong. One has right. Whether you are a dreaded criminal, that is what I am saying. You might be a very not acceptable to society, but you have to face the trial. One who suppose the rule wants to follow the legal procedure cannot consider as supporter of criminal. No, I couldn't understand this. Then anyhow, if he would have been kept in jail, he would have come out in a week. No, not possible. Yash Sharma, this contention is wrong. How can many coincidences happen every time? The police is releasing Vikas Dubey even after the case is against him. Yes. Then there is another question which says that in case of increased encounter due to delay in justice pending. Yes, this is very, very, very big question. Why people are welcoming such things? Very correct. Why people are welcoming such things? People are welcoming because they think that judiciary, the Nirbhaya case, it took 7 years, and the other side took all possible, help of law to